was a short notice for this field day, but we did this insecticide trial with the baby pakchoy for control of webworm. And I hope that you picked up one of the data sheets that Robin put together with the graph showing marketability. But the overarching theme of this field day is this new kind of initiative that we're starting, and it's called Get Local, and that's an acronym for Grow, Eat, Think Local. And we're trying to get a healthy food system connected with healthy people. Just like the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, we have the ag side as well as the human resources side. So we're trying to get everybody involved in the food system. So we're trying this new model of field day. So we hope that we can provide science-based information to consumers, growers, and anybody in the system, and in turn help stimulate the market for local products and the demand for things that you as growers might consider or are already growing. So I know Robin kind of already started talking to some of you about the treatments and the results, but he will talk a little bit more in detail about that right now.
Organic insecticides and the use of a physical barrier to control webworm as well as other lepidopteran pests. The treatments considered were pyganic. We use a 17 fluid ounce per acre rate. We use azotrol, which is a Nemix product. It's 41.8 fluid ounces per acre. We had an experimental product called Pongamia oil. It's used at 2% volume by volume. So if you put 100 gallons, you're going to put like 2 gallons of the product. We also use dipel and trust, which is spinosad. It's a translaminar product that can be used by organic growers. And we had a standard insecticide, which is one of the diamides that our growers use to control diamondback moth. And we use a product called Coragen. And we applied it at a rate of 3.42 fluid ounces per acre. And we also had this physical barrier. This is Protectnic. This is from Johnny's Select Seeds. It's actually, the mesh is fine enough to prevent thrips from coming inside. So this can be used for several seasons. So when we kind of cost it out on a per acre basis, actually it costs maybe about $3,000 per a tenth of an acre. So all these treatments were treated every week with the exception of the physical barrier. Okay, so when you look at the results, you're going to say, oh, how come it's like this? The check pie had the highest average rate. Why? That's what it came out to be. So 1.27 pounds per acre. That was followed by the physical barrier that had about 1.2 pounds. That Coragen was 1.18. So pretty much when you look at this, they're all over a pound. But when you start looking at percent marketability, the physical barrier had no insect damage whatsoever. So we had 100% marketable. And that was followed by the grower standard, which is something like Coragen or a diamide. We had maybe 67% marketable. We also used Entrust. We can go ahead. Let's go over here. So Entrust is similar. It's the same product as Success. It's the old standard. Now there's a new generation of product called Radiant, which is Spinatoram. It's the next generation of the same active ingredient. And this particular product is very good because it also has translaminar activity. Whereas most of these other insecticides is only contact, meaning that if the insecticide doesn't come in contact with the pest, it's not going to kill it. That's why when you look at like azotrol, pyganic, dipel, if you're not getting coverage, you're not going to get control. And the thing about it is, if you look at the growing, as this crop grows, it's very difficult to get the spray deep down in the leaf whorl, especially when the crop matures. So it becomes a problem. So the key to controlling most of these problems, especially for webworm, is spraying right after planting. Because once the pest attacks the growing point, the crop is lost. So that's probably the most important. The thing about it is we wanted to make sure we had webworm problem. So Kylie did a survey a week before we sprayed. She found what, 8?
Yeah.
But see, even if you see 8, let me tell you, there's a lot more than 8 in the field. Because we wanted to maybe have like a half a worm per plant, that kind of threshold. But it was very, very high. We also found diamondback moth, the cabbage webworm, imported cabbage worm, and cabbage looper. And you'd be surprised that all those bugs, because they were deep in the growing point, we had difficult time controlling, especially with organic insecticides. So, to me, I think if you're going to want to do this organically, maybe you got to kind of cost out the use of something like a hoop house. But it's not. The question is it economical? That I don't know. Although you can use it for several seasons, they say. Okay. Right now, I think this Protecnic, this particular physical barrier, it costs about like $330 for about 950 linear feet, and it's about 9 feet wide.
Yeah, it's 9.5 by 328.
Yeah, so you figure something like this, and also these hoops are fairly expensive. I think I have some of that data. Let me get it.
I can get it.
Should look in the truck. It's in the back. But this tool was fairly expensive. 100 of these hoops cost $110. Plus you have to pay for shipping.
Hold this.
Okay. What was kind of alarming to me was, when you look at the industry standard insecticide, which is like Corogen, which is the same product as Belt, we have insecticide resistance by the diamondback moth to diamides. And this is the first recorded case on Maui. Now, cannot say if it was growers not following schedules or just that this pest came to Maui probably from Oahu, because on Oahu this pest is out of control. The only pesticide that works against the diamondback moth is Proclaim. So it's like going back to 2000 when that was the only product that was available to control diamondback moth. Anyway, so for our DBM resistance management program, the growers won't be able to apply the diamides till December, but we're going to be doing a bioassay testing in November, and based on the results we can kind of determine whether or not we can include it back in the rotation or eliminate it for another 6 months. So that's kind of where we at with this. Any questions, you guys?
Do you want to open one of the hoops?
Okay, why don't we look in the...
Let's harvest one of the unmarketable ones too.
Well, okay, this is
Or like a
a marketable one.
marketable and then unmarketable comparing.
Okay. So like this one, see, this is an in-trust treatment, but you notice, you see some damage. This damage here is caused by bagrata bug. Whereas the
some leaf
physical
miner
barrier,
damage,
because
yeah.
none of the bugs got in,